question about this because it seems ridiculous to me, right? Because from my perspective, people like dark-skinned people. Like in real life, like I feel like in the media.
They like it because that's just the right thing to say.
What's that?
So when it comes to business, I think they like it because it's the right thing to do. It's a trend right now. But as far as business, it's a trend. It's a trend. Yeah, but it's reality. But as far as business, at the end of the day, behind the scenes, they're still going to give you a different contract than somebody who is of a lighter skin complexion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the truth. That's yeah.
And you can be a personality. You could be this. You could be great. You could be beautiful. But the other person's going to still get a little bit of advantage over you. And that's the reality of things.
I just don't see the logic in it.
A little bit more hype.
I don't see the logic in it. I get the reality in it. I get
you have to think of who are the ones in power making these decisions. That's the logic.
So when I take up logic, I'd be like, okay, let's talk pure dollars. Are you saying that this person is going to bring in less dollars because less people are going to be interested in seeing them on something because they're dark? Is that really the case, or is this a decision that someone's making because they're biased and they're uninformed? Like, is it really that people will not buy a product that has a dark-skinned person, or is it that's the perception? I feel like that's maybe the perception. I think you put dark-skinned people in positions and they would be extremely successful. I think we see tons of cases of dark-skinned people being successful when they're given opportunities. So it's just whoever's the people in those positions who have this crazy perception that's not based in reality, in my opinion.
But you can say that because as your perception, you would buy something like that. But I
think people I love dark-skinned people, you know.
Yeah.
I love dark-skinned people. I love all, but I don't. Anyway.
The cross mark. So how easy can that person assimilate into other cultures?
Yeah, I just think it's a subconscious bias now. It's been so ingrained in us for such a long time that it's a hard habit to break.
Yeah.
Well,
growing up, it was not it wasn't growing up. It was an outward bias. It wasn't now it's a little more like that. Growing up, it was like, oh, you black as hell. You black, you almost purple. You black. It was like, yo.
And you know what's crazy? I know you all could agree to this. Growing up in the Caribbean, you didn't know like you were black because we are the majority, right?
Yeah.
Right? But as soon as you came to the US, it's all about like black and white and brown. And I'm like, why does it matter? We all people. Like, shouldn't you they say you shouldn't judge, but like you should judge people based off their personality and like the character and stuff like that, not skin color. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
I know some black people, they would joke some dark-skinned people too, though. So we do it to ourselves too. I've caught it. So, I'm lighter now because I live in upstate New York. But when I was on St. Croix, shades darker.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it is. It's innocent jokes. But at the end of the day, they were funny.
Yeah. It's definitely a different experience as a Black Caribbean or Afro-Caribbean, however the term is, let's change it as PC as we can, than a Black American experience.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a complete, it's so much of a cultural difference, I absolutely. I think in a lot of ways, although we have our own struggles, I think what a lot of Black Americans experience growing up here is it's traumatic. It doesn't lead to good outcomes from what I've seen. And I've lived in the hood here. After I got out of college, I had no money, so I lived in the hood. So I've seen it firsthand. I'm like, okay, I see. If you grow up in here, it's really hard to see anything other than this. This is what your existence is, and it's hard to break out of that. It's a cycle. And so, and then, I was living, cops would be at the corner and they just like harassing you. And so it's the daily harassment and being treated like an animal, like a subhuman, that has an impact on how successful you're going to be, how much self-esteem you have and confidence to go out in the world, that just being treated like that every day. And I think people who are not subject to that don't understand that.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. And I think that's why it's hard for them to have empathy for us. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for them to say Black Lives Matter.
Yes. Because in Caribbean, we're coming from poverty too, but we're not necessarily getting, be gunned down. And St. Croix, we're not getting gunned down by police. We're not getting gunned down in the VI by police. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Poverty is sure, but that's not happening. So.
Yeah. And it was hard for me to understand, like, at first I thought Black people were just angry because I didn't understand until I lived it and I truly understood it. And then I felt like I was part of the movement too, because even though I grew up in Anguilla, I am also Black. And so white people will see me the same as if I am a Black American. And so I've lived the experience, and now I understand. Okay, I understand some white people because they haven't lived it and they don't understand. And it's hard for some people to have empathy for something they don't understand and they haven't experienced. No, that's just I think it's emotional intelligence to see, okay, you see that person over there suffering, you see that person treating this person a certain way, and it's not just once, it's all the time. It's a trend. So how can you not say, oh, that is wrong? I feel bad for those people. Let me be an ally. Now that part I don't understand. It's common sense. You shouldn't treat people this way because they're a certain way.
Yeah. Because that aspect comes down to characteristics. It's not about how you live or anything. It's about what's right or wrong and how you learn to treat people as a person and not as just what the color of their skin is. Yeah. So that comes down to characteristics. If you can't understand that how someone talks to you disrespectfully is wrong, then that comes down to your characteristics and not just how your experience to the Black movement or the Black experience.
Yeah. And it's a generational curse because you're teaching your kids to hate people for the color of their skin when that's not right. It's just not right.
I think teaching hate in general is poison. It's poison for your body, poison for your soul, and all that hate and anger. It has to come from somewhere else. All of that, I can't imagine it because it's not genuine. So it must be something going on internally. I think we need some healing. We're consuming too much negativity out here in the world. Social media.
Yes, I
think that we're not built to take on the negativity of the world, yet we have access to it every day. I can look at 1,000 murders, right now, and just all day, and that's, you think you're not sleeping with that running through your mind? You think it's not going to have an effect on you? Well, I think as athletes, you understand that your mentality affects your performance. So if your mentality affects your performance, what else does your mental state affect in your life? Everything. So I do think that it just seems like there's just too much of this negativity, and I'm not a huge fan of social media. I'm trying to put some more positivity out there through it, and I feel like you have to be on it these days. But I'm not a huge fan of the negative aspect of it.
Yeah, if you have a business, you have to have social media. It's no way around it, especially this day and age.
It's just so toxic, people vent, people say things that you shouldn't say, and they just say it, and it's hateful a lot of times. They're like, what? Why would you? What's going on that you would just say that?
Yeah.